From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop Dbacks, the primetime capper, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It is Friday, the 23rd of June. We are shooting through this year like no other. So pretty much here we are, 6/23/23. So pretty much today is Friday. So we're trying to make this a regular thing again. And we have none other than your favorite, my favorite, my brother from another mother, all that good stuff that people always like to say. But you guys know him affectionately as the Don of Cape Cod, none other than Jeff Dawson. What's going on? How's everything going today, bro? How's the world treating you on this beautiful Friday?
The world's going good. It's Friday. It's payday. It's one of those fade the public Fridays, I like to say. Tough menu today, but we'll try to peel a few back. Busy week. We just did our final college baseball show as LSU is now getting ready to play Florida Saturday, Sunday, Monday if needed. There, on with you, and then we'll wrap up the afternoon with our closing bell. And so the weekend is here, Pops, and always blessed and honored to be a part with you.
Awesome stuff. All right, well, you know what we got to get into, and that is the NBA draft. What were your first thoughts about the draft, Jeff?
If you want my honest 2 cents, I'll give it to you. I did not like the broadcast itself. I'm an old school guy, and it's so much of a production now. I didn't. No disrespect to Stephen A. Smith, but I think they can do better for the NBA draft there. And the players themselves, go back to, the NBA draft when it used to be, Pop DiBiase, 3 years UCLA, and Jeff Dawson, 4 years at UConn. And now it's G League, it's overseas, a handful of college kids. The game has changed, Pops.
Well, you're really right about that part right there as well, too. So, pretty much what I got last night is that a lot of entitlement and a lot of players up in there, telling teams that they didn't want to play for them and all this other stuff, agents, playing this gorilla ball and all that stuff. And then what really eats me up is that 3 of the best players I've seen in college basketball, over the last 3-4 years absolutely get left out. And that's not fair, in my opinion. Kentucky, National Player of the Year 2022, doesn't get drafted. Drew Timme has been a first-team All-American since he was a sophomore, doesn't get drafted. Then Sanago, one of the stars of that great UConn team, literally the engine that got them over the top. They say, we're good. And pretty much what happens is now this is what happens. These guys have to get it the long way. And why do they have to get it the long way? And they actually went and did the work. That's the biggest issue that I have with today's way of drafting. I felt like, okay, now you guys are looking at this like McDonald's, dude. You're not looking at this to where you guys are really saying that you really care about these guys' future. You know that most of them aren't going to hit. You know that because they're not mature enough to be in the NBA. So they're going to come into a league. They're going to get their feelings hurt. They're not going to play well anymore. And then what happens is you rinse and repeat the same cycle all over again. And these guys that got left out, the 3, they're still going to go on and have 10-year careers, but you're going to make it really hard for them to do that. And it's going to be funny because the 3 I just named, one of them is going to be a starter in their first game in the NBA as well, too. So it's really funny to me that we do this, and then we're gonna devalue these players as well too, as if they weren't as good as these guys. And I said that I'd much rather go with the guy who's 17 and 12 nightly in college than some guy who has this potential but his potential was 9.5 points and 2 rebounds a game in a scrimmage league. NBA knows what they're doing. They don't want to pay players later on down the road, because now we got these astronomical figures. So this is how you rinse and repeat, and you keep everybody cycled out. So now you can go ahead and you only value 4 or 5 players for real now. You know what I mean? And that's what it's going to be. And then everybody else is going to be moving parts. And this is just because the way that the NBA has set its salary cap up to the point to where they can't afford to pay these guys 100 and they've gotten up to $60 million a year as the top player. We were mad over Marbury making $20 million 20 years ago. And now we got guys like Lillard, who are nowhere near finals. They're making $60 million a year. And there's people that appease them for this. And it's just like, well, I don't know how much longer you guys think you're going to have a league. You know what I mean? So now they're looking at it and they know you got to cut the money down. This is how we cut the money down, by not giving them a long enough service time to really pay them. At the end of the day, everybody's going to be recycled, rinsed, and repeat unless you really stand out. And most of them don't, because they're all the same player at the end of the day. And then you saw great players like Amari Bailey and Imani Bates, 5-star high school players who decided to go to college. Then they got punished for it because they went to college. You know, Amari Bailey is a guy that doesn't get out the top 15 in any other draft. Imani Bates is a guy that doesn't get out the top 5 in any other draft. At the end of the day, Drew Timme would have probably been a top 3 pick 30 years ago. You know, no doubt about it, because he has the resume to show up for it. But the biggest travesty I had, but it's going to be a great situation for you. I thought getting Porzingis was going to be huge for you. Getting Trace last night, that was the biggest steal in the draft. That guy who was a top 10 pick, he was the best big man that you had going. And you guys are going to say that there were 6 other players that were much better than him. Detroit, Houston, you needed that guy last night. But you're going to settle for somebody that you can go ahead and move around. That's the whole thing. You know that you can move this player for other assets because you're selling potential for the first 3 years of these guys' career. And that's why they want to draft them so badly now, because it's too – you see, when you used to get a guy who's in college for some years and everything like that, he's going to have a smart agent, and you're going to have to be stuck with him for at least 3 years. You know what I mean? Because the guy has earned his right into the NBA. These guys, they know they haven't earned their right into the NBA. They haven't played their 10,000 hours of basketball. So that's why they're sitting in this position now to where they say, oh, come on. And then we'll just, filter you out as we go. And we'll keep around the ones that, that fall in line of what we're doing. The rest of y'all, let's give it a shot and see what we do. But I feel like the entitlement thing got to stop in the NBA. I feel like these guys really aren't earning their way into the league anymore. It's just that now you're just looking at sample sizes and potential, and that's a monster excuse in my opinion, Jeff.
Well, you go back to what you were talking about with the salary and the talks by the new big 3. Well, first and foremost, locally here with the Celtics, we had a big 3 a million years back when it was Larry, it was Kevin, it was Kevin Parrish. You know where I'm going with that. But my point is, then we go Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. At no point was Tatum, Brown, and Smart the big 3. So now they're calling the new big 3, and you're talking salaries. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to give Jalen the Supermax, going to make $59 per. So he's at 291, I think the number will be. And then 2 years later, Tatum gets his Supermax to 310. So you're paying 2 guys $600 million, and they're going to give Porzingis that extension. So you're going to have your big 3, and then you're going to need to fill 9 bench spots, and it's going to come down to slots. It's going to come. This is the number. I'm sorry, take it or leave it. It's almost like the Patriots of old. We have a number for you. You fit into this number. Otherwise, hit the bricks. So the NBA is not going in the right direction. They want to compare themselves to the NFL. I thought last night was about a show. And the production, I didn't like the production, but I assume most people did. But overall, good luck moving forward, Pops.
And my last little point is this: like, I know that we have the fact that we families are really happy and they're really proud of you and everything like that, and I love it, and I'm really proud of them too, because as I said about the NFL draft, being there in the last 2 years and everything like that. And then seeing this draft last night and watching it over the last almost 40 years, I say to myself, this is the greatest night of these guys' lives. You know what I mean? And all that hard work that they did on the court or on the field has paid off, and now they have their moment. You know what I mean? And I know this is going to get some backlash and everything like that because people, love the family atmosphere and all that stuff. But at some point, be a grown man and just talk on your own. Your family, that your family's going to say the most common things ever. They're very proud of you and God first and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But I felt like they were kind of taking the spotlight away from the players in the sense where they have to talk to mommy real quick. You know what I mean? Or they got to talk to daddy real quick to see exactly what got you here. Everybody doesn't need a biography before we actually know who they are. You know what I mean? I think that they're trying to literally sell everybody as a biopic now in sports because they were able to do something that, a lot of people aren't able to do. They're looking at it literally as a lottery ticket now. And that's great and everything like that. But dude, the real work starts here. We didn't make anything yet. And, pretty much I always say if I had a kid playing in professional sports right now draft night, I'm letting him have the whole show because he's earned the right to be there. And you know what? At the end of the day, he's going to be the one who's asked to be accountable for everything that he does out there on the court and in life. You know what I mean? And I don't want people looking back at me and trying to say, well, is where he comes from with his parents. You know what I mean? And his parents should have raised him better. So now you're putting these people out on Front Street, and then we're kind of getting a sample size of who these people are. And so when these guys act up and something goes wrong, we're going to say, okay, it's because you were a spoiled brat when you were growing up. And that's what I was just feeling like that. We were talking to a bunch of spoiled brats' parents, you know what I mean? Because they were just like, we've invested our life savings and everything. I said, life's no. I deal with plenty of AAU coaches and all that good stuff. Nobody who has real big talent is paying for that stuff. If you're the best player on the team, you're not paying for anything. Let's just keep it real. We don't have to keep selling that lot. You know what I mean? And most times when a kid is pretty good, the parents are pretty well off as well, too, because they can put them in the right type of training situations and things like that. And, these guys are special players, man. I will give them that. But at the end of the day, though, we need to get back to the basics of sports, youth sports in America. It has to start back off in the Boys and Girls Club and the Y and all the rec centers and everything like that, where the kids who ain't going to make it can just still go have a good time and not have to pay $5,000 a year to be disappointed by the time they turn 17 and they tell them that, you ain't going to be able to do no NBA or no NFL. You know what I mean? We're really happy that you were able to help pay for the AAU team for the last 8 years. You know what I mean? And this is happening all over the country. And it's leaving a bad taste in people's mouths because now you got parents up in here talking about, why am I paying $6,000 and I know these kids ain't playing no good basketball at all or nothing good at all. And, and that's a bit of a problem. But when you got the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA and all those places, you know what? You play your little league season, it's over with, and then you go on with your life. You know what I mean? And then we'll come back and do it again next year. You know what I mean? And we have a good time about it. And then, pretty much people are having a good time. But with the way parents are nowadays, we can't have stuff like that anymore because every parent thinks that their kid is the next LeBron just because they made a free throw. All of a sudden, they're the next LeBron, they're the next Kobe, and everything is all about them. No, when we're doing something like this, we're trying to teach kids the team concept. We're trying to teach kids how to communicate with each other. We're trying to teach kids how to understand that life is a pretty hard place, but when you got a team behind you, it can be an easier place. See, there's a lot of lessons that go into it other than just being a great basketball player and having a reporter with a mic in your face. You know what I mean? It's so much more than that, Jeff, in my opinion.
I agree 100%.
But, I could sit up in here and be Preacher Paulie all day long, but Jeff only got so much time. So let's jump into some football real quick and talk about the AFC North. Is this the best division in the NFL? Your thoughts?
I think I said last Friday, and I'll piggyback again. This, hands down, in my eyes, my opinion, is the most competitive division in all of football. Everyone wants to anoint, obviously, the Bengals in winning the division with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and the rest of the crew there. A lot of wild cards in this division. Lamar Jackson, now paid, now happy. They add OBJ. They add Zay Flowers. Will they now? They have a good defense too. Are they the sneaky team? Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, finally a full year ready to go under center. No more suspensions. That's all past them. Good defense, sneaky offense. And then the Steelers and Mr. Tomlin, who I think is the best coach in the NFL, other than maybe Andy Reid. Just gets it done. Has never had a losing season. Second year, Kenny Pickett, the evolving of wide receiver, Mr. Pickens. Najee Harris, will he be the real Najee Harris, or will it be Jalen backing him up there? Strong defense. They go as far as a healthy Watt goes. So hands down, Pops, in my eyes, yes, the best division in the NFL.
Well, I have to totally agree with that, because I feel like what happens here is that since Cincinnati became a team to really be able to for people to really follow up with and really be in the mix with, with Burrow and the great receiver tandem, Joe Mixon, all that stuff. Well, the great receiver trio, the great tight end as well too. That's just a basis of drafting very well and having a coach that just pretty much goes along with the plan that has been set up for him. So, the Bengals, I think, have pretty much made the division a little bit more, exciting, because the Browns, all in all, believe it or not, a lot of people got to understand they're always going to be theater for the whole NFL. I would say that regardless of what anybody thinks, they're probably the most popular team in the division when it comes down to being really bad or when they're really good. You know what I mean? They're always going to have a Browns story or a Browns look for some odd reason, because they waiting for the Browns to be a part of the Super Bowl. This is crazy that they started this division. You kicked out Houston or Tennessee, Jacksonville, years ago, back in 2002. This has been 20 years. And each and every one of these teams in this division, but the Browns, have been to the Super Bowl. So this year, the Browns have the type of team that's not thinking about just winning 7 games. You know what I mean, Jeff? This team thinks that it's legit, they're real, and that they're 11-12 team winner right now. If they can get their defense to step it up and play a certain way and keep games alive for them, they might have a great opportunity to win these games. Because the biggest difference about having a Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield is this. Hey, Connor, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you on the show with us today. Good to have you here, brother. But back to my point. When you got a guy like Deshaun Watson, those close games, he's going to win those close games for you. He's not like your average little quarterback. He's in that top 5 echelon of guys that can get you wins in crisis situations. In real game situations, these guys can get you the victory. And that's what is going to make this thing so special, is because they have wide receivers in place that are going to be really, really good. And since he has a training camp to actually get to know these guys a little bit better, it's going to be a really good season for the Browns, in my opinion. But it's all based on the health of the team. That's always the problem with the Browns. It's about the health of the team. So when I look at them, I look at a team that can be a surprise winner of the division, and I know that they got the biggest value of to win the division right now as well too. So that's something good to look at, and that's why I say this is a good division, because this is the one division in the NFL, Jeff, that I think you could take all 4 teams to win the division and say, okay, I'm all right with this. You know what I mean? And because you just don't know, because this is the division that when you play a road or a home game, it's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be a walk in the park. This isn't like the what division do I want to that where they just literally just always start? Well, yeah, the old AFC East. You don't want it to be like that. You know, it's not going to be like that where you got one team that just stomps out everybody. No, these teams are going to have to compete. When you go to Cincinnati, you know it's a tough game. When you go to Cleveland, you know it's a tough game. When you go to Baltimore, you know it's a tough game. When you go to Pittsburgh, you know that it's going to be a tough game. So that's why this is going to be a division that's actually going to probably sort out how the AFC truly is going to be this year, in my opinion, Jeff, because the AFC has been so good the last few years with like 10 or 11 teams in contention to be in the playoffs. And so pretty much they've been kind of in the middle of that mix as well too. So that's why I say that, you know, the North is going to be very, very, very have a lot of say on who's going to be moving forward really to get to those playoffs this year, in my opinion, Jeff.
Yeah, the North, like I said, you know, listen, as you know from the NFL Bet Exchange, I've been on the Bengal train since Joe was in diapers, and the problem is now they've reached that level where they've been knocking on the door 2 years ago in LA for the Super Bowl, battled Kansas City, goes into Buffalo, beats Buffalo, loses to Kansas City last year. Again, it's the one team in that division. Now, I know they all have elite quarterbacks other than the Steelers. We don't know if Pickett's going to make that next step. We don't know if Deshaun's going to come back to the Deshaun early years in Houston or the Deshaun of last year that couldn't hit a 10-yard button hook. The Ravens, in my eyes, are the sneakiest team just because Lamar is happy now. Lamar is paid. They have more weapons than they've ever had. Maybe a healthy Bateman. They add OBJ. They add Zay Flowers. They got a good backfield. They got one of the best tight ends in the game with Andrews. We know they start the season fast. So they're the sneaky team in my eyes. And my point with the Bengals is, and of course, you know, I don't root karma, injuries, or anything, but, you know, that left tackle and right tackle have to be a force for Cincinnati because, you know, if Joe was to get injured, that team is just not going to go anywhere. But in my eyes, again, this division, it's must-watch TV every Sunday.
And yep, and that's the one thing I'll say about that. That's the only thing that's probably off about this division. If anybody's quarterback gets hurt, their team is through for the season, except for the Ravens. That's the craziest thing about it. The Ravens probably are the most complete team when it comes down to it because they know how to really evaluate rosters, unlike a lot of other teams do in the NFL. But that's why the Ravens are always in the mix because they do know how to evaluate rosters very, very well, and they know how to build rosters very, very well too. And this is a team that doesn't spend a lot of money either. They just scout really well, and they've been doing that since the beginning of the Ravens. You know, if you go look back at the Cleveland 94 story, and you really get to know exactly what the situation was. Everything that Bill Belichick crafted in New England was crafted in Cleveland with Ozzie Newsome. And Ozzie Newsome went to Baltimore. He went up north to you guys. And pretty much, and when you look at the 20-year run of Brady, then you look at who was the other team that was always kind of in the mix with that situation. And who won the Super Bowl first? Because we all got to remember how the Super Bowl goes. You know, the Ravens got their Super Bowl. Then the Patriots got their Super Bowl after with the same blueprint, but nobody wanted to say nothing about it. Both won those Super Bowls with ultimate defenses. And I will argue with anybody to this day. I was only about 1 or 2 years old during the 85 Bears run. So I can't sit up in here and be like, well, I did. No, I know one thing. I know about that Ravens team that won that first Super Bowl, and that's the greatest defense I ever saw in my lifetime, with my own eyes. You know what I mean, Jeff? I can't speak for something else, but I still will put Ray Lewis up there as by far the single best defensive player I've ever seen step on the field. And I do not care. I will argue that to the end point. Because if anybody knows Ray Lewis in that Super Bowl season, he was the best player in the NFL. He was the only player that was on another side, was on the side of the ball and dictated more than an offense could. That is absolutely nuts. I have not seen it done ever again in the league. So, they can say whatever they want about certain defenses, but that Ravens defense is in a class of its own. I don't care what anybody says. And they should have about 10 Hall of Famers in that group, but that ain't going to happen because guys got hurt after a while.
That Ravens defense was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. They had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. They were legends, okay? But as you said, when you were 2 years old, there was nothing like that 85 Bears defense. That was the most ferocious defense I witnessed. 85, 67. I think I was 18 years old, and I was in the midst of my gambling career. A true story about that Super Bowl. Dead even going into Sunday. Played 3 games leading up to Sunday Super Bowl game. Lost all 3. Was down 700 going into that game. Called my guy. Put 800 on the Patriots plus 11.5. And he goes, "You're the only person that has taken the Patriots so far." And it was 3-0 Patriots. And then I think the Bears scored 40 straight points, even with a fridge touchdown, which was the first official prop bet in the history. 85, will Refrigerator Perry score a touchdown? The biggest prop in the history, which started the game.
Well, that's a great story right there, Jeff. Jeff was trying to do what a lot of us do, play the other side. Let's go ahead and let's get some quick hits real quick before we go to this commercial break. Are the Eagles still the premier team in the NFC? I know it's still early, but what are your thoughts, Jeff? Do you think that they still run the show in the NFC?
Pops, on paper, I mean, let's be realistic here. Another year with Jalen Hurts. They add DeAndre Swift. They have A.J. Brown. Another year with Devontae Smith. Goddard at tight end. They added 2 more Georgia defensive players. Their defense consists of the Georgia Bulldogs. Looking at the division, is Saquon going to hold out? What's going on in Dallas? Pollard, is he going to be healthy for the start of the season? What are they going to do without Zeke? And then, of course, the Washington Commanders. The NFC on paper is taking hits. No Tom Brady. What will the Saints be like? That division is you got the Panthers, you got the Saints, you got the Falcons who are rebuilding with Bijan and Ritter at quarterback. And so my point is, how many stellar teams are there? They're the Eagles, the 49ers. I'm just doing this off of the top of my head. You can maybe add Dallas. Seahawks could take some regression. And then, of course, no Aaron Rodgers this year. Everyone's on Detroit Lions with Goff. So are they the premier team in the NFC? I have to say yes, Pops. Currently, as we speak, yes.
Well, the way you made it sound, I have to agree with you, because at first I was going to try to have an arguing point with you, but you made too much sense right there for me to even try to, battle that situation right there, because the Eagles are really good. Just the only problem that I have, and I know it's like, don't be like that, Pop, but the coach, bro.
I knew you were going there. I know. But but listen, you can say the coach, and this will be a big, big test for them. How do you handle stardom? What's the biggest problem in the NFL is the Super Bowl hangover. You're reading all your clippings. We got to the big dance. We were 1 quarter away from winning the Super Bowl. The 49ers said the same thing a few years back when Mahomes did the same thing to them. So do you get back into camp hungry and chasing what 15 minutes you were away from, or do you read the accolades? Do you take the attaboy? Jalen Hurts takes a step back this year. Their running backs, maybe DeAndre Swift as usual is hurt. They got Gainwell. They could run the wishbone if they wanted to. But their wide receiving core, Pops, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. I mean, it's special. I think it's special, and their defense is ferocious. They just pin their ears back, especially at home. They put so much pressure on the quarterback. So which quarterbacks will remain standing? We've been waiting for 3 decades for the Cowboys to get back there, Giants, Daniel Jones, Barkley. I mean, they don't scare you. No one in Washington scares you. It's the 49ers, who you're going to be talking about next, who still don't really have a quarterback. So there's no Brady, no Rodgers. Who's going to put the pressure on these guys?
Well, we'll see. We'll see, because the thing is with Philadelphia is it's going to be a little different from last year. You're not going to set up with 9 games with 9 teams that ain't going to be making no playoff. You know what I mean? Because let's keep it real. When you look at most of their schedule, they played. You can only play what's in front of you. I know that, Jeff. But still, they didn't have like a schedule where it said, "Oh my God, this is a killer schedule." No, they had a schedule literally where you're supposed to rip these teams apart. The way that they looked at the first half of the season, when they went 9-0, things all that nature. It looked really good. And I just really feel like now, since you have a first place schedule this year, it's not going to be just a walk in the park. I don't expect them to go over their win total this year, but I do expect them in the playoffs. I will give them that.
You'll get a good test, by the way. Opening week at Foxborough.
Yeah.
The Patriots aren't expected to be 500 this year. I think they're over 7.5, something stupid, 8.5, whatever it is. The true number is 4. I think it did go to 6 because, of course, that's what the public does. And I'm trying to pull it up for you right now. See if I can pull that up for you, Pops. There's the college games. Philly Patriots. Where's my eyes? Oh, there it is. It's a flat 5 right now. They're showing a 3.5 to 5. The real that's bullshit. Excuse my French. It was 6 and it's gone to 5. So early money came in on the Patriots side. But this is a Philly team that should be able to score 30 at will. Patriots are going to try to live off of the defense, live off of Ramondre Stevenson. But you'll know early. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots won. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles won by double digits. So we'll know early, Pops.
Well, and you're totally right about that, Jeff. And I think that, we were pretty much on the money with our little first week odds and things like that. So, it was at a 4, but it's at a 6. I think I even had it at a 6 because I was like, I know. Because, see, I understand how the bookmaker's mind works because, I've been doing it for long enough. And I know that the bookmakers know that this is going to be an over bet if they make it a 4 to the Eagles. They know that. And I think that the way that game sets up, it's an Eagles upset. The Eagles get beat. That's the way that the game is drawing up. It's not that the Eagles won't be the better team that day. It's just that that's the way the game is drawing up at this point. You know what I mean? Because we know how week 1 works, and anybody who's a 6.5 or higher, you really need to stay away from them as a favorite. And especially if they coming in there on the road with that situation. All right, let's go ahead and jump into San Francisco real quick. Just real quick question. Where do you see the Niners at week 1 at the quarterback situation, Jeff?
I mean, they're hoping and praying it's Brock Purdy. I read today or yesterday that they made all the calls for Trey Lance and there was not one bite on it. So he doesn't have a market. The funny situation is Coach Shanahan is almost like a Bill Belichick disciple. In other words, like Bill, it is the system. It's not Tom Brady. We can put any quarterback back there. And the 49ers truly believe in that. Trey Lance was going to be their guy. They don't need Jimmy G anymore. In comes Brock Purdy, who takes him to the promised land, gets hurt, and the rest is history there. This is Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft 2 years ago. So again, if you're putting your whole stable on this guy, good luck, because the NFL has a resume on this guy. They didn't last year. Well, they can go back to any game last year now and see his tendencies, what he tends to do. This 49er team is loaded. And other than the Eagles, the second favorite to come out of the NFC. So if I had to bet, I would say Trey Lance will be under center game 1 with the 49ers at Pittsburgh. Currently 2.5 for the 49ers favorite. Again, upset alert there. I'll be on the Steelers all day on that one. But I think Trey Lance will be the starting quarterback.
Yep, and if we want to say anybody might be a little overrated coming into next season, it could be the 49ers. Because we all know that the 49ers' whole base is about them being healthy. And they're one team that can't stay healthy. So we'll see. Because I know Seattle's nipping at the heels right now. They ain't got to worry about LA and Phoenix down there too much. But Seattle has their number. I don't care what anybody says. Those are Pete Carroll's kids right there, the San Francisco 49ers. All right, let's just keep it real. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When I get back, we're going to go ahead and talk some baseball, talk a little bit of Dodgers, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of Thursday night as we keep Jeff here for just a little bit longer. And then after Jeff leaves, we'll be doing Talkin Tickets after our second break. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop Dbacks, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop Dbacks, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop Dbacks, the Primetime Capper, and you guys already know the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson. Let's go ahead and jump into some Blue Crew Daily real quick. We got the Astros in town tonight against the Dodgers. Blue Crew Daily, Dodgers start series at home versus Astros. What to expect in this important 3-gamer? Jeff, do you feel this is a must-win series for the Dodgers?
Well, Sheehan starting today, I think if I remember correct, had a great opening day last week, his debut. 2 teams struggling to gain some momentum. Houston without Alvarez in the lineup, still on the IL, the way I understand it. Dodgers need to gain some traction here as Arizona keeps winning. San Fran is hanging around winning. The Padres 9.5 out. You're on Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN. So must-win series. I put it this way. Let's win tonight, and yes, let's win the series. This is a perfect time to be catching the Astros.
Yeah, and the Astros are just absolutely dreadful right now. They are not playing good baseball. But I told y'all this was going to happen. Everybody's, no, the Astros are still going to be great. Like, no. Verlander, people have to understand, when you have Hall of Fame players, especially pitchers, if they can go into your dugout and get everybody to buy into winning in a way, then pretty much those guys are the leaders of your clubhouse. And they did not sign back Justin Verlander. And I said this was going to be key because these pitchers need Justin Verlander there to be that guy they can lean on, that guy that they can talk to, all that good stuff. Lance McCullers has been kind of hurt all season, so you don't have him there to do that. But when you got guys that helped you get to the mountaintop, you have to make sure that you keep them there. But I don't blame the Astros because you're not overpaying for a 40-year-old, 38, 39-year-old pitcher. No, you're not going to do that. The best days of Justin Verlander are well behind him. That's why he's in New York now, because New York's the only goofball that will spend that money. So I feel like the Dodgers do need to win this series this weekend, but we don't need to start scoreboard watching. We don't need to do any of that because I've always kept the mantra that when you're chasing a playoff or you're chasing the number one spot, you can't worry about the other team. You have to worry about you winning games. That's the whole thing. And I think the Dodgers are starting to look up at that scoreboard a little bit too much. And that's why things are starting to get a little tricky here. But I think the Dodgers, as I keep saying, they're going to start rolling in July, August, September, when it actually matters. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like I heard somebody this morning, oh, the Reds, man, Brewers got to make sure that they're looking at the scoreboard. Why do the Brewers have to make sure that they're looking at the scoreboard? They already shoe flied away the Pirates. You know, the Reds are on an 11-game run. Good for them. But there's a team at the end of the day that can go on an 11-game skid. So let's be functional. You know what I mean? So I like this series this weekend. Tonight, though, Jeff, I'm gonna keep it real with you though. I think that what happens in this game is actually goes under because we got a pitcher that Houston really doesn't know, and the Dodgers hitting has not been the greatest as of late, and that's why they're kind of stuck right now. Because when you look at it, the Dodgers have only scored 7 runs since that 15-0 shutout the other day. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move from there. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about MLB Friday Night. Jeff, what's your favorite matchup tonight for MLB Friday Night? What do you feel is the best? What is the matchup that's the most defining of the weekend?
Well, everyone's talking about Atlanta and Cincinnati, the Red Hot Reds, Luke Weaver versus Smith Schuster, whatever his name is. I had an opening number of 155 down to 145. There's only one way that number can go, and that's why everyone's going to jump on the train called the Reds right now. Too steep of a price for me. Seen some people try to get into the Braves run line full game. They're supposed to score 5 or 6 tonight, so it'll be interesting there. So I'm going to keep my eye on the Braves tonight. That was one of them. For the Red Sox at Chi-Town, Giolito versus Balo. And Balo, his last couple starts, has really come into form for the Red Sox. He's been working hand in hand with Pedro Martinez, and you can see a little of that Pedro flashing gait, cockiness, arrogance that Balo's starting to get. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one as well, Pops.
All right. Well, I have my game here, the Rangers and the Yankees. We got Dunning going tonight against Schmidt. What are your quick thoughts about this one?
Overnight, Yankees minus 110 with an 8.5. It's flipped. Ranger money coming in at the circa right now. Rangers minus 108. Yankees minus 102 with an 8.5. Dunning has not been pitching well. Schmidt has been hit or miss. Listen, the Yankees got me good. We had them. We had Seattle the other day against them, and we lose that one. And then, of course, Seattle puts up 10 last night. I lean, slightest of all slight leans, with the Yankees Friday night in the Bronx. I'm not going to follow the money this one. Slight lean to the Yanks, Pups.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into. So the way I'm looking at this one tonight, Jeff, it's going to look a little like this. I'm going to get a little tricky tonight. I know that the run lines and everything is jumping everywhere, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the tricky run line tonight, and I'm going to take the Yankees on the run line tonight because I just feel like they're going to be rocking in the Bronx tonight. I just don't know why, but I just feel like it's going to be one of those nights in the Bronx. And plus 185, how could you pass that up? You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and see how it shakes out Friday night. Let's see if we can get us some Luigi's Pizza, right? All right. So we move forward real quick. We got the Brewers and the Guardians. Actually, like, we can talk about it, but I had another game here as well too. But we got Brewers and the Guardians here. And then what are your thoughts on this one real quick?
Brewers and Guardians. Let me see here. Miley versus Bieber. I had an overnight number of Cleveland minus 140. It's down to 130. Money coming in on the Brewers. The funny thing, Pops, is Bieber's last 5, 6, 7 starts, they've been betting against him. We had Bieber in his last start and cashed. I don't know if I'm going to follow the money here. Maybe he's a good start, bad start. Not a big Miley fan here. So slight lean Bieber, first 5 minus the hook, Pops.
Okay. And then I got the I like this game tonight to be a game that actually is going to be a plus 1.5 run line tonight for us. So hopefully we can get this one home tonight, and this can be something big for us. But I'm looking into this one in a way to where, damn, I'm trying to get this other situation going real quick. But we do have a lot of really good. I just really feel like this is one of the better matchups of the weekend because both these teams are vying for first place in what are considered the 2 worst divisions in baseball right now as well too. So that plays a big factor into what's going on into this situation as well. So I think that we will be on to something tonight with this game with the plus 1.5. So I do like that a lot. So let's go into this game real quick. It's going to be the A's and the Blue Jays. What are your quick thoughts on this one?
A's and Blue Jays. Let me see the starting pitching matchup there. Oh, my eyes are bad today. Where are we here? There we go. Caprillion versus Bassett, and Toronto's a big, big favorite here. A's playing a lot better ball. The Royals now the worst team record-wise in the game here. Your opening overnight number was 275 up to 300 with an 8.5, now 9. Caprillion's pitched a lot better of late. I do have the Toronto team total over 5.5 today, Pops. Hoping they get a touchdown. We don't need the extra point. If you wanted to play Toronto, you'd have to play them on the run line. The only problem with that is you're not guaranteed the ninth inning. You're only guaranteed, of course, 24 guaranteed outs, Pops.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to be very, very quick here, very, very precise. I smell, and I see a plus 220 on one side. Well, plus 265, actually. I'm sorry, plus 260. Yesterday, I got a little bold and played that plus 265 on the Royals. I'm going to go ahead and dance again. Why, Jeff? Because I'm 5-0 when it comes to MLB dog bets over 200 plus 200 or better this month. So let's just go ahead and keep the good times rolling. I feel like the A's are going to come in here and be the ultimate underlay and go up in here and absolutely wreck some things with the Blue Jays. Hopefully it's a demolition derby game, though, so you can get your runs tonight.
Like I said, the pesky A's, I can tell you this, if you're a prop guy, Esteuris Ruiz for a stolen base. I've seen him actually minus 125 or even minus 130. He's going to get on and steal at least second once here, Pop. So I'll root for your A's, and let's root for Ruiz to get a stolen base. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. And then the funniest part about this is that I feel like it's the same 5 damn dog bets every day. Is the Royals, the Rockies, the A's, the Reds are in the group as well too. And then I would say it gets a little tricky sometimes, but I would throw it would be who's been somebody the Nats, of course, the Nats, because it's like Josiah Grade. It's like automatic. People you have to understand how baseball works. It's about certain matchups, certain pitchers, certain days. And that might be your go-to day all the time in baseball, or 30 times out of 35 times. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But all in all, who is your winner tonight? And probably the biggest NL matchup of the weekend between these two teams that think they're going to hold off the Dodgers?
Well, overnight number of the Giants minus 165. Now at circa minus 173. You can grab the Dbacks at 157. Under over flat 8 over minus 15 cents. The line that makes the least sense. There is no way in holy hell the Giants should be favored by that over this pesky Arizona team who had 7 stolen bases 2 days ago. But you know what, Pops? I am a true believer of there's the numbers there. It only can go one way. You only can bet Arizona. Therefore, I would look for the Giants today minus the hook, first 5. Get in, get out. I don't care what happens after, but that would be my play on this one, Pops.
All right, and where I'm going with this one tonight, Jeff, I'm about to be a little bold. This is going to be on my late ticket. So what I'm going to do tonight with this one is I'm going to actually play the big minus 180, and everybody knows me. I don't really play those until football season. You know what I mean? But in baseball, you can play them as well, too, because if you don't trust that team to win by 2 or more runs, you got to take what I call the insurance. You know what I mean? So pretty much 180, we got to overpay a little bit, but that's what happens sometimes when you got to overpay a little bit. You know, big expectations, small rewards. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But, Jeff, go ahead and give them all your handles, give them all that good stuff, because I know you got to go. You gave me about an extra 7 minutes, and I really, truly do appreciate that.
Everyone can follow me on Twitter at EC Sports Invest. They can go over to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. You can send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Go to our website. Plenty of stuff to look at there, from blogs to live odds to if you'd like to be a part of our ECSI VIP service for as little as $3 a day. But it's always an honor and a blessing to be with you here, Pops. Wish all your great viewers here, Connor, everyone else, a happy weekend. We will catch you on ECSI Midday Market Report next Thursday. Could be subject to change because I got a couple other openings that we'll talk about later on in the weekend, my friend.
All right, and hopefully we'll get you back Friday, and then I won't spend 10 minutes on one subject.
Sounds like a plan,
Try
my
to
brother.
churn it out fast as possible, man, so we can talk about a lot of stuff. And I know we didn't even get to the just of things with the NBA. We were just more getting into the why can't it be like 1972 all over again? So it's like, yeah, you know, why can't it be 1992? You know, it's all good. But Jeff, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. That's the Don of Cape Cod. You guys make sure to follow him. Watch all of those great shows that he has for you guys as well, too. We just over here keep trying to churn out all those winners for you and give you all that great info. So you guys make sure that you guys follow Jeff at EC Sports Invest. And he is one of the best follows on Twitter as well, too. He will keep you game tight. So with that, brother, thank you so much. And you have a blessed, beautiful weekend, and enjoy your day as well too, sir.
Toodles.
He's out of here. So we're headed to commercial, and we will be right back with Talking Tickets.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And we are heading into Talking Tickets for today. And Talking Tickets, we do have ourselves a very, very, very fun cards today. So let's go ahead and get into the WNBA Friday double. 3-1 ticket here. I got the under 171.5 with the Liberty and the Dream tonight. That game is going to be in Atlanta. And then we go to LA for the Sparks and who the Sparks playing again? The Sparks is playing somebody that they should beat. So that's why I'm taking the money line with them plus 100. We can see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the ticket right there, 3-1. Oh, yeah, they're playing Dallas tonight. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get that 3-1 going. And there it is. WNBA Friday double, 3-1. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, so we have ourselves the MLB PrimeTime PK6, 94-1. We have the Braves tonight. I know a lot of people were not going to like this. I know Mr. Lucky's definitely not going to like this, but I got to do it. I'm going to go with the minus 150 Braves money line. Then we have the over 9.5 with the Mets and the Phillies tonight as well. Then I'm taking the under 8.5 with the Mariners and the Orioles, and then the Yankees plus 185 on the run line, minus 1.5. And as I said just now, I'm going to go ahead and be a little bold tonight, and I'm going to take the A's with the plus 260 as my dog of the day, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully we can get that bad boy home. And then we have the Brewers plus 1.5 at minus 170. So we just need them to lose by 1 run. And that's what we got here. And let's go ahead and move forward from there. All right. We have ourselves a 14-1 ticket tonight with this is not the ticket, but let's go ahead and I'll get you guys the right ticket I'll get you guys the right ticket right now. So, yeah, that shouldn't be the ticket. So pretty much let me go ahead and get you guys situated the right way. Man, because that's not the ticket. So pretty much DC. Huh? Man. I want to make sure I get you guys right. Oh, man. All right, there we go. We got the 1.5 to the Angels. That's minus 115. We also have the over 8 with the Nats and the Padres tonight. And then we have the under 8.5 with the Astros and the Dodgers. And then we have the Giants money line minus 180. So that's going to be our play for tonight on Talkin Tickets. And pretty much that's what it's going to be. So pretty much and there it is. So thank you very much, you guys, for tuning in today. And that's it. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but